From First News at 9, your forecast first.
33 outside in La Crosse right now, so it is a little bit colder, but temperatures aren't dropping much more because we have this wind out of the south at 13 miles per hour. That's something you'll feel outside, so it may make it feel colder, but temperatures are going to be back on the rise very soon. Just a few clouds across some of our northern counties too, by the way. In the Chippewa Valley, it is partly cloudy, but it is clearer closer to the Cooley region. Again, not really a big impact on our weather, but they are out there. Temps sit in the upper 20s in our northern counties, and actually, those temperatures haven't really moved much in the last few hours. Actually, in Eau Claire, too, 31, I believe, been sitting at that mark for about 2 or 3 hours as well. And as you can see, we aren't cooling off very quickly now because this wind is picking up from the south and lifting more warm air into western Wisconsin. So that's going to backstop our lows. 29 is what I expect to get down to in La Crosse, though just based on the trend we're seeing, there's a chance that we could stay in the 30s. So it will be milder than last night. Wind will be out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And tomorrow, definitely looking like a cooler day, but we may warm up better than today. We'll just have to keep an eye on how quickly these clouds move in. And these clouds may bring showers too, so I'll have an update on when you can expect those coming up. First News at 9 starts right now.
From the Cooley region to the Chippewa Valley, your only live primetime newscast. First News at 9 starts now.
Rising COVID cases across Wisconsin are leading more businesses to shut their doors. First News at 9's David LaClair talked to one La Crosse bar owner who hopes temporarily closing will encourage other businesses to promote better safety precautions as well.
It will be a quiet Friday night at the Chances Are bar in downtown La Crosse.
Just seeing the numbers go up and how many deaths there are, it's sad, it's scary.
Owner Carla says the LGBT-friendly bar has done all it can to promote a healthy, safe atmosphere throughout the pandemic. But now she has decided to close the bar for the next 2 weeks.
We've been keeping steady. People come here because they said they feel safe because everybody here has a mask on, and when people leave, we re-sanitize the area.
Snyder says the decision to close through November 27th was tough, but maintains it is the right decision.
I talked to my bartenders, and they were all okay with closing again, and we just wanted to keep everyone safe and hopefully get other people to do a little bit more so we can get through this.
Gunderson preventionist Megan Miller says now is the time to take the staying at home seriously as hospital capacities continue to rise across western Wisconsin.
We went from seeing on average 5 patients hospitalized at any one time to now we're sitting in the low 40s, and that's only expected to increase.
Snyder hopes the move she's taking with Chances Are can reinforce the need for other businesses to take the right steps in keeping people safe.
If they can close for a couple weeks, to do so. I know that's hard for a lot of places. They can't close. If they require a mask, if they do more cleaning, if they take steps necessary to keep people safe, to stop the spread, a little bit goes a long way.
The time now is to realize that our duty to our community is to keep everyone happy and healthy.
In La Crosse, David LaClair, First News at 9.
In a release Friday morning, UW-La Crosse announced it'll be going completely virtual after Thanksgiving for the remainder of the fall semester. Residence halls, dining halls, classroom buildings, and other facilities will remain open. The chancellor also said if students or staff are choosing to visit friends and family during Thanksgiving to self-quarantine starting today. On Thursday, UW-Eau Claire, UW-Stout, and UW-River Falls all announced they were going online following the holiday. The Eau Claire Area School District announced it will move to exclusive virtual learning starting the Monday after Thanksgiving. Online learning is expected to continue through at least Tuesday, December 8th. The decision was made following a shortage of teachers and staff due to the COVID-19 crisis and quarantines. Principals will be providing more information on virtual learning and meal services in the coming days. Eau Claire Area Superintendent Michael Johnson says in a statement, quote, although disease transmission has not occurred in our schools, the community surge of the virus and the increasing number of positive and quarantine staff require us to transition to our 100% virtual instructional model until we can safely staff our schools. COVID-19 continues to surge again in Wisconsin. Hospitals in the state are overwhelmed and people in the community are reeling from the effects of the virus. First News at 9's Carla Rogner spoke with some people dealing with the aftermath of coronavirus and shares their messages to the community.
whole world thought, well, maybe in a few weeks this will all blow over. How naive were we?
Katie Beichel and her family began feeling effects of the pandemic back in March when her husband Alex lost his small business.
Having to, start over at entry level and, start over again was really scary.
Now the family of 5 is quarantined after her husband and sister-in-law tested positive for COVID-19.
They both got all of the symptoms. All of them. And on Wednesday, my husband was having a hard time breathing. He ended up in the ER.
In recent weeks, the virus has surged in Wisconsin. Deaths have more than tripled. In Eau Claire County, 22 COVID-19 related deaths happened in the last week. Mayo Clinic Health System's hospitals in northwest Wisconsin are at capacity. Marshfield Clinic, along with HSHS Sacred Heart and St. Joseph's Hospital, are filling up fast.
Hit harder and more worse than I expected.
Over in Rice Lake, Mandy Richter and her husband are still recovering 3 weeks after testing positive for coronavirus.
At first, it was a headache, coughing, fever. I have a lot of congestion.
Richter says she likely caught it at the nursing home where she works.
I knew that there was a chance that, we would get COVID, and it just kind of hit, really surprised. So it scared us.
Beichel and Richter want people to think about how their actions could contribute to spreading the virus.
I've never seen my husband this sick. He is a strong man, and he is so weak, and it was really scary to see that.
Not a joke, and just because you think you can't get it, don't think that because you can get it.
Especially with the holidays approaching.
Do your part. It's, wear a mask, social distance. Do what you can, because there are people who won't recover from this.
Simple steps to help prevent others from getting sick. Reporting in Eau Claire, Carla Rogner, First News at 9.
Once again, the state of Wisconsin set new single-day highs for new cases of COVID-19 and hospitalizations due to the virus. More than 7,700 new positive tests out today pushes the total over the 300,000 mark. It took 7 months for Wisconsin to get to 100,000 cases and 36 days to hit 200,000. Deaths increased by 58. Hospitalizations went up by 274. Closer to home, Eau Claire County moves up by 67 positive tests with 1 new fatality. Chippewa County adds 135 new cases with a new death reported by state DHS. La Crosse County tacks on 166. Dunn County increases by 72. Eau Claire County has recorded close to 1,700 new cases of COVID-19 since the start of November. This has prompted the Eau Claire City County Health Department to update its community expectations. The department released the expectations last month, but since then, the county has seen more than a doubling of total cases, and healthcare and public health systems have become overwhelmed. Included in the guidelines is to stay home as much as possible and keep close contacts to only those in your immediate household. The health department also updated information about following up on complaints against those who are not adhering to those expectations. President Trump and his campaign continued to dispute the results of the 2020 election. Today, the president delivering remarks on the distribution of a coronavirus vaccine. Meanwhile, the Biden-Harris transition team moving forward and looking at what's next for the president-elect. Lauren Blanchard has more.
Nearly a week after Joe Biden was declared the projected winner of the 2020 election, President Trump has refused to concede. Today from the Rose Garden, he spoke about his COVID-19 plan, Operation Warp Speed.
Operation Warp Speed is unequaled and unrivaled anywhere in the world, and leaders of other countries have called me to congratulate us on what we've been able to do. And
in a number of battleground states where President-elect Joe Biden is leading, the Trump campaign has filed lawsuits alleging irregularities and fraud and accusing election officials of not allowing them access to the ballot counting process. Beginning Friday in Georgia, a hand recount of ballots, which is unlikely to change the outcome.
This is an important first step. This lets us know that the accuracy of our integrity of our voting system is there. This is about every legal vote. This is about casting out those that are illegal votes.
In an interview with 60 Minutes, former President Barack Obama says President Trump is on a dangerous path.
It is one more step in delegitimizing not just the incoming Biden administration, but democracy generally.
The Biden-Harris transition team has started to roll out their ideas to address the pandemic, but they have expressed frustration with not having their transition certified by the federal government.
We're not interested in having a food fight with the GSA administrator or anyone, really. We just want to get access to intelligence information, to threat assessments, to the ongoing work on COVID.
President-elect Biden does not have any events planned for this weekend, but his advisors say he'll be speaking with lawmakers and national security experts next week. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin says she's excited to work with the incoming administration of President-elect Biden, regardless of which party controls the Senate. Today, she told First News at 9 that regardless of party control, there will be plenty of items on the agenda. With the COVID-19 pandemic still a major concern, the Democrat, now in her second term in the Senate, hopes lawmakers from both sides of the aisle can come together.
I also hope that we can get to a point where there's mutual recognition of the big challenges facing this country and Wisconsin specifically, and work in a bipartisan way to address those challenges.
Baldwin also says the Trump administration needs to recognize Biden's team in starting the transition process. Still ahead, COVID-19 is forcing some people to make difficult decisions when it comes to celebrating Thanksgiving this year. But first, a look at why certified vote totals in Wisconsin are slightly changing election results. That's next on First News at 9.
First News at 9 will continue in a moment.
Billie Eilish filmed a music video in an empty mall. It's like a throwback to Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now.
Oh my God, that's what Billie should have sang. That would be perfect.
Next TMZ. Tonight at 9:35. The NFL on Fox. Bears.
What a play.
Titans.
Touchdown.
The Emmy-winning People's Court.
Weekdays at noon.
This is the Big Bang.
Weeknights on Fox 25/48.
3 voters in northeastern Wisconsin have filed a federal lawsuit seeking to exclude election ballots in Milwaukee, Dane, and Menominee counties that helped deliver the state to President-elect Joe Biden. The plaintiffs allege without evidence that absentee voting is ripe with widespread fraud and that votes in those counties should not be included in the state's final election certification, which would then give Wisconsin to President Donald Trump. The plaintiffs allege voters in the 3 counties may have bypassed state law requiring voters to provide a photo ID by declaring themselves indefinitely confined due to the COVID pandemic. Currently, 63 of Wisconsin's 72 counties have released their certified vote totals, which can be released as each county completes the vote canvass process, which is essentially a double check of the results. Wisconsin Elections Commission Administrator Megan Wolf says vote counts can change slightly because of human error or the number of provisional ballots, which are used to record a vote when a person's eligibility must be resolved for it to count.
They're looking to see that they have the same number of ballots issued as voter signatures in the poll book and absentee requests. This is also a check to make sure that everyone was registered to vote.
President Trump's vote total in Shawano County dropped about 270 votes from the unofficial results to that certified total. The Shawano County Clerk's Office reports that was due to a typo. COVID-19 is forcing some people to make difficult decisions when it comes to celebrating Thanksgiving this year. A release out today from UW Health stressed the need to have those conversations ahead of what's normally a big day for gatherings. Behavioral health specialist Shanda Wells says it's okay to have boundaries and clearly state what you are and aren't comfortable with.
I think it's easy when we're with people we're comfortable with to let our guard down. And so it's easy to say, well, I don't need to wear my mask this one time. We're outdoors, it's okay. But that right now especially really isn't safe.
Wells also adds to not try and convince another person and to instead hear them out and to understand that everyone's tolerance level for risk is different. Well, gray skies and showers are expected to take over tomorrow. Tucker has your Foxcast coming up next.
Coming up tonight on WEAU 13 News at 10.
Another grim day as Wisconsin sets another record for COVID-19 cases.
The search continues more than a month after a Clark County woman went missing. Hear from one of her family members tonight.
Plus, remembering a Packer legend and Hall of Famer, Paul Hornung. Prep football highlights and a check of your Skywarn 13 weekend forecast.
Get the latest news and weather tonight on WEAU 13 News at 10.
Forecast First is driven by Martin Transport. Expect the best.
Definitely not a warm day across western Wisconsin anywhere today. It wasn't too far below our average, but we were not quite there. 38 the high temperature in La Crosse, 45 still the average. And those lows too were definitely on the colder side. It's part of the reason we didn't get so warm. 23, so also 7 degrees below that average mark. In Eau Claire, 34 was the high, so one of our colder days in the past few weeks even. And lows actually got down to 16, which I have to double check, but that might have been the coldest we've gotten so far this year. But as we all know, there are much colder days ahead. All right, now skies are pretty clear across western Wisconsin, just a few clouds in the Chippewa Valley. But the biggest factor in our weather right now is definitely the wind, which is out of the south at 13 miles per hour. And as that continues to come out of the south, we aren't going to cool down too much tonight, and we may actually warm up a little bit more tomorrow. Part of the reason we have that wind out of the south is because high pressure sits to our south. So that's pushing all the air we're seeing in Illinois, which is just a bit warmer, into western Wisconsin. And as that high pressure system moves farther east, it's going to pick up that south wind across some of the states to our west, and that'll bring in warmer air tomorrow as well. So there are some benefits to the high pressure moving out. And as I mentioned, you can see that wind a little bit stronger to our west, and that's going to move out with the high pressure system. Temperature is sitting in the upper Midwest in the 30s right now, actually in the 40s to our far southwest. That's where our air is going to be coming from tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to quite get or be in the 40s this time of night, but as you can see, that warmer air is going to move in, and that could be very useful because we are in the 30s at best in western Wisconsin and really the entire state right now. In fact, Rhinelander and Wausau, areas in the north central part of the state, are going to be into the teens in just a little while. Tomorrow morning, though, we're actually going to warm up a bit more from where we are now, and we'll get to the low 40s across western Wisconsin today or tomorrow, but that's going to come with a catch, too. First of all, we are going to see clouds in the sky, and that is going to be a big factor in preventing us from reaching those average marks, and we may see a few showers as well. The thing is, though, is that the showers are going to pick up overnight, and they're really going to begin to produce as we get after dark. And then as we get into early in the morning, there is a chance we could transition to light snow across pretty much all of western Wisconsin. And by the time we get into early Sunday morning, there may be a coating of snow on the ground in some places. Looks more likely in the Chippewa Valley than the Cooley region. It won't be anything major, though. Sun will come out later on Sunday, and that should stick around a bit more on Monday. That's really our only system, though, but it will bring a fair amount of rain. Not a ton, but you can see somewhere between about 1/10 and 1/2 inch. Definitely, though, we are going to see more of that rainfall in the eastern half of the state as the system develops and moves in that direction. While it's over our heads, it's not going to be as strong as it will be when it is to our east, so we are going to miss out on some of the heaviest precipitation, which is probably a good thing when we're talking about snow here. But as mentioned, there is a chance we could see some on the ground when we wake up on Sunday. I think this is a higher end amount. I think 1 inch is about the most we could see in western Wisconsin, but definitely don't be surprised if there is perhaps a coating on the ground. Tomorrow, if you want to get outside early on when the sun is out. Those clouds will work their way in the Cooley region first by about 10, 11, and noon. In the Chippewa Valley, they may come about 2 hours later. But the thing is that the later we get in the day, the higher the threat becomes for showers. And that wind will be breezy, too, so it's not like we're going to escape that by waiting later in the day. And as for your 7-day here, temperatures are going to stay on the colder side Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But once we get into the middle days of the week, that's when we could see a little bit of a warm-up and hopefully another day in the 50s.
Thank you, Tucker. Still ahead in sports, second-round highlights from the Masters. But up next, another Packer legend has passed away, remembering the Golden Boy, Paul Hornung, when we come back.
Send us your weather-related photos for a chance to win a Forecast First shovel.
Packers Hall of Famer Paul Hornung died in his hometown of Louisville today after a long battle with dementia. He was 84. Nicknamed the Golden Boy, Hornung was a star at Notre Dame, winning the Heisman Trophy in 1956. He was the Packers' first-round overall pick in the 1957 NFL Draft, helping Green Bay win 4 championships. Horning was a talented runner, receiver, quarterback, and kicker for the 60s Packers. Vince Lombardi called him one of the greatest players he's ever coached and the best all-around back ever to play football. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur started his press conference today with some words on the Golden Boy.
Condolences to the Horning family. Obviously, the Packers have lost another legend. That's 4 for the year with him, Adderley, Willie Wood, and Willie Davis. And so anytime, you lose legends like that, it's always a sad day. They're a big reason why the Green Bay Packers are the Green Bay Packers.
Horning spent his entire 9-year professional career in Green Bay and was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1986. Well, coming up next in sports, the Badger football team returns to action tomorrow night against Michigan. Plus, despite some of their struggles, the Packer defense is still holding down a decent ranking. Find out where it is next.
First News at 9 is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs.
After having to cancel their last 2 games with Nebraska and Purdue because of COVID, the Wisconsin football team finally returns to the field tomorrow night when they travel to Ann Arbor to battle the Michigan Wolverines. For linebacker Jack Sanborn, he believes he and his teammates have kept their focus despite the extended time off.
From what I've seen, I think our team has really approached it very well. I mean, these are times that none of us have ever been in. None of us thought that we were ever going to be in. And I thought we've approached it well. I mean, each week it's, okay, on to the next week. Who's our opponent? After Nebraska was canceled, it was, okay, now we're on to Purdue. Looking at Purdue, getting ready for that. Then that one ended up getting canceled. And then right away it was, okay, we're on to Michigan. Let's get ready for Michigan. So I think we've had a good mindset and approach to it. It's obviously different, weird, but I think our team is doing the best that we can.
Well, did you know the Packer defense is actually above average? Green Bay ranks 11th in the league, on pace for the unit's best finish since the Super Bowl season 10 years ago. It just doesn't feel like it thanks to a minuscule 6 takeaways, 3rd worst in the NFL, a year after Green Bay was 3rd best in that department. The sack totals are actually similar to last year, 18 so far, ranking 18th, just 2 shy of being on pace for last year's sack total, but it hasn't had the same feel, according to Kenny Clark.
We got to get back to intimidating guys and intimidating quarterbacks. I remember last year, it felt like as soon as the quarterback got the ball from the center, it was like somebody was going to sack him, hit him, pressure him, or whatever it was. We got to get back to that. And the crazy part about it is we've been winning so many games, and I don't feel like nobody's been happy about our performance or happy about where we at. I think we really got a lot of room to improve.
All right, second round of the Masters. Several big names at the top of the leaderboard, including Justin Thomas. JT rolling in the birdie at his final hole. He's at 9 under par. 3 others tied for first, including Dustin Johnson. How about that shot off the pine straw at the par 4 11th hole? He sticks it in there close. He would make the birdie from there. Later on, it's Johnson at the final hole. He drains the putt to join the party at 9 under par. As for Tiger Woods, he began his second round 5 shots off the pace. How about that shot at the par 5 second hole? Almost knocks it in for eagle. Misses it by a couple centimeters. Woods, though, remains 5 shots behind the leaders through 10 holes. When the second round was suspended today because of darkness, Tiger will have a chance to make up more ground early on Saturday. And how about the second round leaderboard? There it is. Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Abraham Answer, and Cameron Smith all at 9 under par. Second round resumes at 6:30 a.m., followed by the third round, the traditional moving day at Augusta. We'll be right back.